What's going on? Welcome to the Gahni Gordio podcast, episode 22. I'm your host, Abigail Jacobs, joined today by Katsi'tsaié Paul, Project Development Officer for the Indigenous Women Entrepreneur Program. Thanks for joining us, Katsi'tsaié.
Thanks for having me. I'm
excited to talk today about this new program, the Indigenous Women Entrepreneurs, or IWE program. So it's a new feature here, right? At Katsi'tsaié Business Services. Can you tell us about this program and its mission?
Of course. So the Indigenous Women Entrepreneurs, or the IWE program, is designed to support Indigenous women who want to start, grow, or strengthen their business. The program was launched nationally in 2022 through the National Aboriginal Capital Corporations Association and is delivered through Indigenous financial institutions across Canada.
Cool.
Including organizations like Katsi'tsaié.
Okay.
The mission of the program is really about creating more opportunities for Indigenous women in entrepreneurship and helping remove some of the barriers they often face when starting or growing a business. One of the key goals is to increase lending across Indigenous financial institutions so that 50% of loans go to Indigenous women. The program also focuses on leveling the playing field by offering programming specifically designed for women entrepreneurs. By doing that, it helps support more women in launching new businesses, growing existing ones, and ultimately creating more employment within our communities.
Wow, that sounds awesome. This IWE program you mentioned is delivered in partnership with, we'll call them NACA. It was the National Aboriginal Capital Corporations Association. But I know amongst the office, everybody just refers to them as NACA.
Yes.
Can you explain how this partnership is strengthening the services that are available to Indigenous women? You were saying, it kind of goes through different Indigenous financial institutions like Katsi'tsaié. So how are those partnerships strengthening the services that are available?
Through NACA's National Network of Indigenous Financial Institutions, or IFIs, the program can be delivered in communities across Canada. Each province has several IFIs offering the IWE program, which helps ensure Indigenous women entrepreneurs have access to financing and support no matter where they're located. It also means that the program is delivered by Indigenous organizations that understand the unique realities and needs of Indigenous entrepreneurs.
Oh, cool.
The partnership also improves access to capital. The microloan fund includes a grant portion and requires less cash equity than traditional lenders, making financing more accessible for women who may be starting smaller home-based or part-time businesses. In addition, all of the IFIs delivering the program have hired a dedicated IWE officer who provides one-on-one guidance through the business journey from the initial idea stage through the application process and into aftercare once the business is operating.
So that's you.
Yes, that is me. Entrepreneurs can also benefit from women-focused training and networking opportunities.
Oh, cool.
So in the future, there will be workshops and events designed specifically for Indigenous women entrepreneurs. Overall, this partnership allows NACA and IFI networks to combine resources, funding, and expertise to create a national program that supports Indigenous women entrepreneurs in a culturally relevant and accessible way.
I love that. No, and it's so important because, just having those Indigenous-led spaces and being able to have that perspective where the women and entrepreneurs in general who are Indigenous can meet and share their common experiences and things. That's great. So now you did mention a bit that there's like a grant portion and that we're getting microloans. So all in all, this IWE program offers up to $25,000 in financing. Can you walk us through what the financial package look like and how does it work?
As you mentioned, the financial package is up to $25,000. That's what each client could potentially access, and it's made up of a grant and a loan. So the grant is the money that you get to keep, while the loan is the money that needs to be repaid over a period of up to 5 years with applicable interest.
Okay, that's a good period, though.
So just to give an example, if someone applied for a total financing package of $10,000, they would also need to contribute a small portion themselves as cash equity. So in this case, the business owner would contribute 6.25%, which is $625. That's what you need to start.
Oh my goodness.
And then the program would provide the remaining $9,375, which would be a split of grant and loan. Okay. So if you want the exact breakdown, the grant would be $3,124.
Okay.
And your loan would be $6,251.
All right. No, that's good balance though. And this whole time you're paying into your own business.
Yeah.
So you're generating the revenue.
Yes.
And paying off your loan.
Yeah. And then as well, part of the application process, the entrepreneur needs to clearly explain what the funds will be used for and provide quotes for the items they need to purchase. It's important to note that purchases cannot be made before the application is approved.
Okay.
Once the application gets approved, the client will receive a check for the combined grant and loan. So in this specific example, it would be the $9,375, and then they can move forward with the purchases.
Right.
And lastly, the contribution agreement outlines any reporting requirements the client must follow just to ensure that the funds are used for the intended business purposes.
For sure. No, and this is very similar to if anybody is familiar with Katsi'tsaié's business services or other loan programs and things. They all run with these same kind of partnership agreements and the capital and loan with grant partnerships. But I like that, for this specific program,
it's women only.
It's women. That is very cool. And of course, for this specific program, they get to meet specifically with you. Katsi'tsaié, you are the IWE program officer. Can you share a bit about your role and what your goals are working with this program?
So as the IWE program officer, my role is all about supporting Indigenous women entrepreneurs at every stage of their journey. I help women start their businesses or grow small part-time operations into full-time ventures. That means connecting them with funding opportunities, helping them apply for grants or microloans, and guiding them through the process of developing a business plan and financial statements. So I work closely with clients. Sometimes this involves reviewing documents, other times taking a more hands-on approach by offering one-on-one business advice. But ultimately, it's the entrepreneur doing the work, and I'm here to support them along the way.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's so exciting. Good big things that are happening.
Yes, and then in the future, I'll also be hosting workshops and training sessions that will be tailored to the needs of female entrepreneurs, and this could cover topics like digital marketing, managing financial statements, or just introductory entrepreneurship skills.
Amazing. So you get to meet with potential clients before they get to submit their formal application. You get to develop a relationship with our women entrepreneurs. What kind of conversations are happening during these early stages?
So when I first meet with a potential client, the conversation usually focuses on determining first if they're eligible for the program, but also understanding their business idea. So I start by reviewing the program's eligibility requirements and making sure they match the requirements. If a client doesn't meet these early stages requirements, then unfortunately they won't be able to apply. I also ask about the type of business they're planning to start or grow, just because there are certain industries that are not eligible for funding.
Okay.
So this could be businesses related to alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, gaming operations. We can't fund those businesses. So I need to know what their business idea is up front. Some other ineligible businesses are not-for-profit organizations, government or municipal entities, and 50-50 husband and wife partnerships.
Okay.
So for this program, you have to be a 51% owner of the business.
There you go.
So during these early conversations, I also explain the other programs offered by Katsi'tsaié, so clients fully understand the range of support available, and this allows them to decide which program best fits their business needs and goals. So once we've confirmed that the business is eligible, the conversation shifts to their financing needs. So I ask what they're looking to fund, since the program can cover a variety of costs such as capital expenses, operating and working capital, marketing costs, and advisory services.
Wow.
In many cases, clients are seeking funding to start a business or to purchase equipment that will allow them to expand their operations.
Definitely.
We also talk about whether they're applying for any other financing programs and what kind of financial information they currently have available. For example, if they keep up with their financial statements or if they may need assistance preparing them. Another important part of the discussion is where the business will operate. If the business is located off reserve, it typically needs to be formally registered and may require additional steps such as obtaining the proper operating licenses and permits.
Okay.
Before they begin the application, I also encourage clients to research the items they plan to purchase and gather quotes so they can clearly outline their costs.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we go over all the documents required for a complete application, including the business plan, financial statements, quotes, and the application form itself.
It's a lot of good information before anybody comes in so that they can make sure they have their ducks in a row. And even just if there's an area where they're not sure, it's really great to be able to say, like you mentioned, having a business plan. Mm-hmm. Not everybody has the business plan, but that's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
So good. Thank you so much for all of that information. So now, how does the program help Indigenous women navigate this business plan? Or you mentioned financial analysis and accessing professional consultants. Does the program support these endeavors as part of the application?
Yes, it totally does. So the program helps Indigenous women with navigating all of these different areas that you just mentioned. So part of my role is developing a business plan terms of reference. Okay. So this document outlines all the required sections of the business plan for the IWE application.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah. It's really helpful. This document explains what needs to be included in each section so clients understand what is expected in a complete application. Even if someone has never taken a business course before, this outline provides a clear structure to help them develop their plan. If clients are still unsure how to approach the business plan after reviewing the document, I can work with them directly to help them tackle it since the main document required for the application is the business plan.
Okay.
For the financial component, all businesses, whether new or existing, must submit a 1-year monthly projected cash flow statement. I provide clients with a template to help them complete this section and guide them through the process. I also encourage clients to be realistic with their projections, especially when estimating sales, because overly optimistic forecasts can create challenges later when it comes to managing operating expenses or loan payments. For existing businesses, clients are required to provide financial statements such as income statements and balance sheets for the previous 3 years. While clients are encouraged to keep their financial records up to date, I can assist them in preparing these documents so long as they are able to provide the necessary financial data. In addition to this support, I can also connect clients with professional resources when needed. For example, if a client requires help with bookkeeping, accounting, marketing, or other specialized services, I can make recommendations after consulting with the business services team. I can also help identify training opportunities that allow clients to build skills in the specific areas where they need additional support.
That's so great. And it seems it can be very overwhelming to hear all of these different things. You have a great idea and you have passion as an entrepreneur, and you have the support because Deudunitsakta and Katsi'tsaié, we're going to help you through it. So
yes, we will.
And, we talked not just the overwhelming endeavor of being an entrepreneur, but I'm sure there's also feedback that we get or statistics that are taken into consideration for this program where we address the barriers that we're seeing Indigenous women entrepreneurs facing. How does the IWE program help address these barriers?
So some of these challenges include 1, access to financing. Many Indigenous women have difficulty meeting traditional lending requirements, such as collateral, equity contributions, proven credit history, or full-time involvement in a business. There are often few microloan options available to meet the needs of smaller startup ventures.
Okay, yeah.
The second challenge is balancing responsibilities between family and business. NACA has actually conducted a lot of research on this, and they found in a study during 2020 found that responsibilities for children, grandchildren, parents, and extended family can impact women's businesses' growth, making it challenging to dedicate time to business development, training, and networking opportunities.
Oh, yes, I believe that one.
The third challenge is fewer financial resources to invest in their business. So Indigenous women tend to have lower incomes and may rely more on government transfers, which means they often have fewer personal resources available to invest in their business. The fourth challenge is sexism. So this results in women not being taken seriously as men, particularly in male-dominated industries such as construction and skilled trades. Another challenge is the lack of support within their communities and from their chief and councils, as Indigenous men are often favored within their communities and receive preferential treatment when it comes to business opportunities. The final challenge is the lack of business knowledge and training in the areas of financial literacy and business planning, regulations, and management. Participation in workshops for females and training opportunities are often hampered by family responsibilities and lack of transportation.
And of course, to note as well that, NACA and this IWE program is also like a Canada-wide thing. So these are feedback and statistics that we're seeing across the country.
These are challenges for women all across Canada. It's not just specific to this region.
But definitely, some of those may resonate with the women who are looking to start a business like this. And that's where it's nice to know that, no, they are seeing these issues, they're seeing these barriers, and we're working to help.
Yeah.
Definitely. These were the barriers that we know that we're addressing. And now, how is the program supporting working through these barriers?
So the IWE program helps address these since the program provides accessible microloans with lower equity requirements, flexible repayment terms, and no strict credit score requirement, making financing more attainable for Indigenous women entrepreneurs. Because many women-owned businesses are small and operate as sole proprietorships, they often require smaller amounts of capital, which is why the IWE program is structured as a microloan program.
Okay.
In addition to financing, clients receive one-on-one support from the IWE officer who helps guide them through the application process and provides ongoing support as challenges arise. The program also offers gender-specific training and workshops in a safe and welcoming environment, helping women build business knowledge, confidence, and networks.
Cool. So now, what advice would you give to an Indigenous woman who has a business idea but isn't sure if she's ready to pursue this funding endeavor?
First, I would make sure the business is something that you're truly passionate about or that you already have skills or some type of education in. When you're starting a business, there can be long hours and you can't really clock in and out like you would with a typical 9 to 5. As an entrepreneur, you end up wearing many hats such as marketing, production, finance, customer service, and sales. So having that passion really helps you push through the challenges that may come up. It's also really important to do as much planning and research as possible. If you have people in your life that you can talk to just give you some guidance, or if you speak with business advisors, organizations that support entrepreneurs or other business owners, that'll be really helpful. Networking and hearing about their experiences can also teach you a lot about what works and what challenges you might face. Another tip would be to look at your market and your potential customers and your competition, but also the practical side of running the business. Research what kind of equipment you'll actually need, what inventory you may need to have in stock, and the real costs involved. It's important not to just jump the gun and start buying things before you fully understand what's required to operate the business. And finally, find a strong support system. Starting a business can feel overwhelming at times, but surrounding yourself with people who can offer advice, encouragement, and guidance makes a huge difference. You don't need to have everything perfectly figured out. Plans can change and problems come up, but having the right people around you can help you work through those challenges and keep moving forward.
Oh, definitely. And especially for like our immediate Kahnawake area, we have so many amazing women entrepreneurs that I think it's a really good sharing resource that I've always had great conversations, walking into a local store or going talk to an artisan and just asking, how do you find it? How's it going? Be able to share those experiences and get some advice and really help you make the right decision, get that confidence.
Yeah.
Very cool. So now what would be the first step that someone should take when they feel ready and they're considering applying? What's the first step?
So when someone feels ready, the first step would be to email me, or if they have a current BSO, email them, and then their BSO will transfer them over to me. They could also call Dewaduni and they will transfer the call to me. It's important to reach out so that I can make sure you meet all the requirements, make sure the project costs are eligible, and to provide all the application documents.
And these core eligibility requirements for the Indigenous women who want to apply to the IWE program. What can we check off the list to make sure we've got them all, the core eligibility requirements?
So there are 8 key eligibility requirements in order to apply for this program. The first one is the applicant must be Indigenous, so either First Nations, Métis, or Inuit, and you need to have proof of documentation, and this would be your status card. The second eligibility requirement is that you have to be 18 years old or older. The third requirement is the business must be opening or expanding in Kahnawake or the Greater Montreal region. It can be on reserve or off reserve. It doesn't matter where you're located. It's important to provide the location of your business because financial institutions serve clients based on their geographic region. So I have to know where you're located to decide if you would go through Dewaduni or a different financial institution. The fourth requirement is the female must own 51% of the business. If you are in a partnership, you must have majority ownership of the business in order to apply. The fifth requirement is the applicant must maintain effective control of the business and be actively involved in strategic decisions and ongoing operations. So if you own a business, like 100% ownership, but you're not involved in the business and you're kind of just financing a business and you're not involved in the day-to-day operations, that is not eligible. That's not for this program. The sixth requirement is the total project financing plan must be under $75,000. So anything over $75,000, that's too large for this program. This is a microloan program, so it has to be under that amount.
Okay.
The seventh requirement is the applicant must contribute a minimum of 6.25 cash equity.
Okay.
If the client wants to contribute more, that's totally eligible. The minimum amount they have to contribute is 6.25%. The eighth requirement is the applicant must not be in a status of bankruptcy.
There you go.
And that's all the requirements.
Great. And if clients and listeners want to learn more, they want to connect with you, or they want to start building their application, what's the best way for them to reach you or find more information?
Best way to reach me is by email. My email is katsi'tsaié.paul@kdc.biz, or you can call Dewaduni Zakda and ask to be transferred to me. You can also visit Dewaduni Zakda's website. You would go to services and look under the funding section, and you will find the Indigenous Women Entrepreneurs program right at the top. On there, you can find more information along with the program guidelines booklet, which will cover everything you need to know about applying. I always ask clients if they would like to set up a meeting to discuss their project or if they know what they need to do, and then I'll just send them all the documents to get started on their application.
Amazing. So visit our website, dewa.ca, or give us a call at 450-638-4280 to get your business started today, to talk with Katsi'tsaié. Thank you so much for talking with us and teaching us all about this amazing new program.
Thank you for having me.